the lists, how we can create a list and how we can access the elements in the list, and how to slice and dice. So let's make a list here so we can work on the list. It can be between two square brackets like what we see now. So I will give it a variable name, which is list of things. Let's say just list of things, that is the variable, equal. This is how you put the list in, and you put your element. For example, as you remember from the data type from the previous videos, we have integer, we have float, we have string. I will just call it string. I call it like this so you know that it's between the two commas here. You have to put the string, and also you split between the elements inside the square brackets with commas. Comma again, and boolean can be true or false without any commas. So if we test this line, if it will be working, so shift enter, it's working. So let's say if you want to access some element on this list, we don't want it all. Like for example, you have a list of 1,000,000 things or 500 things, and you want to access some element, but you know what's the position. In Python, this is considered as a position 1, and this is 2, and 3, and 4. So if you want to access, for example, if you want to get information from the position 1 to 2, this is how we do it. If you want to just print this one from the list, so this is how the way we do it. This is how we can slice the list. So list variable things, and you multiply it by what you want to do with it. The slice sign is like that, so because we know it's 1 and 2, so basically you tell him, please slice for me the list in the 2 element. Shift and enter, and you get 1 and 2, 1 and 3.4. And let's say if you wanna slice the list without the first element, so basically when you say 1, it will ignore the first element. So you want to slice this, the first element. This is how we do it. So you put the 1 here before this double dot, square, so 1. So you slice from the 1 and onwards, and you ignore the 1. So this is how you do it. So 3.4, a string, and a true, and a boolean. Let's say if you wanna see from the position 1 to position 2 what we have in a Python. I need to say a convention here. In a Python, the first element is always ignored when you say you want to slice from the first element to the last element, but the last position is included. The first position is ignored and the last position is included. Let me show you how so it can be more clear. So things like, let's say, from 1 to 2. So that means from 1 to 2, and this means ignore the first one or count from the first one onwards, and this one count the first and the second one included, and the first one ignored. So if we set from 1 to 2, let's see what's the results. So basically, you set from 1 to 2, you ignore the first one, from 1 to 2, and you include the last one. One other thing is, if you want to check if there is something in the list, like you want to check an element in the list, so this is how you're gonna do it. You say, for example, if 1 in list things is true, because 1 it's in the list thing. Let's say if 2 in list things, that is false. So this is how you check if there is something in the list or not. If you want to check the string, what I mean by string is anything that written between these two brackets, like a sentence or something like a word. You can check if it's in the list. That is true. So this is how you can check. Let's have an example to finish up this so you can understand. For example, if we have the months, okay, and we have all the months here, so January, okay. Oh, instead of the months, let's take the days. I think it's easier and faster. Days, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is an example of a list of, sorry, for this one. Hopefully you saw it before me. So if you saw it before me, that's a good, that you are, it means that you are on track. So that is the list now what we have on the days. So let's say in the future you have a very long list and you want to check something if it's in this list. So say days, say like if January in days, let's see what's if you want to check something and it says false, you don't have it in days. So let's try this code. So if you say the days and between square bracket number 3, so it counts 1, 2, and 3. Actually, sorry, in the Python, it's different from language to language, and I hope you notice. So in Python, you count from 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. There is different languages you count from 1 and 2 and 3. So basically, you need to check with the language for how they use the indices or the positions for the element. So for this one, days, it says 3, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So this is how you access to the third element within the list. And that's it for today. Just I thought to give it a short today so you can understand this one very clearly and you understand the 1 and 0, which position is the first, is it 1 or 0 or 2 or 3. So this is a quick exercise so you can get your head around the positions of the list and you get familiar with the list of the elements.